The evening air was crisp, carrying a faint scent of rain and city light. As Lily walked into the rooftop lounge, she had spent weeks planning this night, meticulously crafting every detail. This was supposed to be a milestone, a celebration of love, trust, and years spent building a future together. But as soon as her eyes found him across the crowded room, she knew something had shifted. Ethan wasn't looking at her the way he used to. His gaze lingered elsewhere, on a woman whose elegance seemed effortless, whose smile was just a little too confident, a little too knowing. Lily's chest tightened. The years of shared laughter, whispered secrets, and quiet moments now felt fragile, as if a single gust of wind could shatter them. She had crafted a gift for him. Simple but meaningful, a custom-made leather-bound book containing memories, sketches, and love notes spanning their relationship. It wasn't expensive, but it was heartfelt, painstakingly put together to show him the depth of her care. Now it felt suddenly invisible, meaningless in the glare of his attention towards someone else. Ethan's laughter carried across the lounge, smooth, practiced, intoxicating, but it wasn't for her. Each word he spoke to the other woman felt like a dagger, slicing through Lily's chest. She had trusted him, believed in him, invested her heart and dreams into their relationship, and here he was, abandoning it all as if it had no weight at all. The betrayal hit with the suddenness of a storm, leaving her momentarily breathless, teetering on the edge between disbelief and anger. He turned toward her then, a flicker of hesitation crossing his face, but it was fleeting. "Lily, we need to talk," he said, his voice carefully neutral, rehearsed almost, like he had been preparing this line for weeks. I can't do this anymore. I've met someone else." The words landed with the weight of a falling building. Lily's vision blurred for a moment as the world around her seemed to tilt. She wanted to scream, to beg, to demand why, but the words lodged in her throat. Instead, she managed a quiet, measured nod. "I understand," she said, though her voice trembled despite her efforts. Every step she took away from him echoed in her mind, a mix of fury and heartbreak, her heels clicking like a countdown of everything she had lost. Back in her apartment, the walls that once felt comforting now seemed to close in. She replayed the past 3 years like a broken record, the moments of shared joy, whispered promises, and private jokes. Each memory, once tender, now carried a sting of betrayal. But within the whirlpool of hurt, a new clarity emerged, a quiet, burning resolve. He thought he had chosen someone better. He thought he had won, but he didn't know her yet. Lily realized with a steadying breath that she had power he could never foresee, a power she intended to wield carefully. The following weeks, Lily immersed herself in her work with renewed intensity. She was already known for her sharp instincts in the investment world, capable of spotting opportunities others overlooked. Now, heartbreak and betrayal became fuel, transforming her grief into laser-focused ambition. She analyzed market trends, pored over financial statements, and identified startups with untapped potential, quietly planning a path that would allow her to rise far beyond the man who had left her. Then came the tip about Aurelia, a small but innovative fashion tech startup. Its founder, a woman radiant with charm and vision, was the very person Ethan had chosen over Lily. The company had immense potential, undervalued yet poised for growth. A spark of satisfaction flickered in Lily's chest as she dug deeper, analyzing their revenue, patents, and growth trajectory. She saw what others didn't: a diamond in the rough, ready to shine under the right guidance. Lily knew exactly what to do. Using her investment firm, she quietly acquired a substantial stake in Aurelia, ensuring anonymity. She would become the invisible hand guiding the company's strategy, helping it flourish while remaining undetected. Every decision, every nudge, every suggestion would prepare for a moment when Ethan would finally understand the consequences of underestimating her. Months turned into a year, and Aurelia began to thrive. The founder, blissfully unaware, credited success to her intuition and her team's effort. Meanwhile, Ethan flaunted his relationship with the woman he believed to be his superior, basking in the thrill of conquest. Lily observed quietly, her calm exterior concealing the satisfaction growing within her. Every milestone achieved by Aurelia was a silent testament to her ingenuity, patience, and strategic mastery. Her life had transformed too. The pain that had once hollowed her out now fueled her. Lily was no longer the woman abandoned on that rooftop. She was a strategist, a visionary, a force quietly shaping a company from behind the scenes. She smiled to herself during late-night analysis sessions, knowing that in time, the truth would surface, not as revenge, but as undeniable proof of her strength and brilliance. And she waited, patiently, meticulously, for the moment when her power would no longer be invisible, and when Ethan would finally realize that the woman he thought he had left behind was the one controlling the very success he had chased with someone else. Lily didn't speak to Ethan for months. She didn't need to. Her silence was more powerful than any confrontation. Instead, she focused on Aurelia, the startup that had become her secret project, her quiet revenge, and her proving ground. Every day, she pored over spreadsheets, marketing reports, and investor analyses. She dissected every decision the founder made, identifying opportunities and weaknesses with the precision of a master chess player. Every move she suggested was subtle, invisible, yet transformative. First, her involvement was minimal: quiet emails, occasional guidance through intermediaries, and discreet strategic advice. She stayed behind the curtain, letting the founder take credit for the brilliance Lily provided. It was exquisite satisfaction to see Ethan unaware, believing the success he envied was entirely her rival's own doing. The thought made her pulse quicken, not from malice, but from the intoxicating power of watching her strategy unfold unnoticed. Lily's personal life became a fortress of focus. Friends wondered where she had gone. Her social calendar emptied as she buried herself in work. Late nights were spent analyzing financial trends and mapping Aurelia's growth trajectory. Weekends, which once had been filled with casual outings, were now consumed with market research and investor relations. Every free minute was a chance to study, plan, and perfect the strategy that would one day make her victory undeniable. Meanwhile, Ethan's world unfolded like a glittering dream. He showed off his perfect girlfriend, attended lavish parties, and flaunted his connection to Aurelia as if it were proof of his own taste and discernment. Lily observed silently, absorbing every public post, every announcement, every interview. Each smile he shared with the woman he thought better was like fuel for the fire simmering within her. She didn't let it make her bitter. Instead, she translated the sting of betrayal into relentless focus and methodical action. Months passed, and Aurelia's growth began to accelerate. Lily had steered the company into smart investments, optimized marketing strategies, and strengthened supply chains, all while remaining invisible. The founder, unaware of who was truly behind these decisions, flourished in her own confidence, oblivious to the mastermind shaping her success. Every milestone reached, every article written praising Aurelia's innovation, brought a quiet thrill to Lily. She watched the company ascend, knowing that the same man who had abandoned her had no idea she had orchestrated this climb from behind the scenes. Lily's transformation wasn't only professional, it was personal. The heartbreak that once left her hollow now sharpened her instincts, honed her intellect, and strengthened her resolve. She realized that power wasn't just about money or status, it was about control, influence, and vision. She began to dress sharper, speak with authority, and exude confidence. Her colleagues began to notice the change, impressed by her insight and decisive action. "You've changed," one of her associates remarked over coffee one morning. "You're unstoppable." Lily simply smiled, letting the word settle. "Not unstoppable," she said quietly, "just focused." Her secret involvement in Aurelia became her obsession. She meticulously tracked every detail of the company: product launches, social media engagement, customer feedback, and operational metrics. She sent suggestions through trusted intermediaries, always phrasing them as advisory tips rather than direct commands. This way, the founder felt empowered, unaware of who was truly guiding the ship. Lily had become both invisible architect and silent partner, a presence shaping success without ever stepping into the light. As Aurelia prepared for a major funding round, Lily's influence grew even more critical. She orchestrated investor pitches, improved financial projections, and refined operational plans, all under the guise of anonymous guidance. The company's valuation skyrocketed. Investors clamored for a chance to buy in, unaware that their decisions were subtly guided by a mind that had once been scorned and abandoned. Every day brought the thrill of quiet triumph, a reminder that strategy, patience, and resilience could outweigh charm, appearances, and luck. But Lily didn't rush the reveal. She knew that timing was everything. Her revenge wasn't about embarrassment, it was about demonstration. She wanted Ethan to see, in one indelible moment, the full extent of what he had underestimated. Every milestone, every successful pivot, and every investor convinced was another step toward that eventual reveal. Her patience became her weapon, and her anonymity became her armor. She was no longer a victim. She was the architect of her own destiny, and the stage was being set for a revelation that would be unforgettable. Finally, the day arrived when Aurelia was ready for an international product launch, a gala that would attract industry leaders, media, and influencers. Lily's careful guidance had positioned the company perfectly, the founder radiant, confident, and completely unaware of the invisible hand that had shaped her success. Lily prepared herself, not with anger, not with spite, but with quiet anticipation. The final act of her plan was almost within reach. Soon, Ethan would see exactly who had been behind the success he had once admired from a distance. And when he did, the realization would hit him harder than any confrontation could ever have achieved. The night of Aurelia's international gala was electric. Crystal chandeliers cast a golden glow across the grand ballroom, reflecting off polished marble floors and glass-lined walls. Industry leaders, media representatives, and high-profile investors mingled, each one unaware of the invisible hand behind the company's astonishing growth. Lily entered quietly, her presence unnoticed among the glittering crowd, yet every step she took carried purpose. Tonight, patience would give way to revelation. From the balcony above, Lily observed Ethan as he arrived, flanked by his perfect girlfriend, the very woman whose charm had blinded him to her unseen influence. He moved with confident ease, greeting investors, laughing at jokes, and subtly flaunting his supposed connection to Aurelia. He believed himself at the center of attention, a player in the story of success. He had no idea that the story's true author was standing just a few feet away, watching, analyzing, and savoring the moment with quiet satisfaction. The founder of Aurelia, radiant and elegant, took the stage to introduce the company's new product line. The audience erupted into applause as the innovative designs were unveiled, the market potential clear even to casual observers. Yet behind every flawless presentation, every strategic maneuver that had led to this moment, was Lily's meticulous planning. From supply chain improvements to marketing campaigns and investor strategy, she had orchestrated each step with precision. She had turned Aurelia into a rising star, all while remaining invisible. Ethan's eyes sparkled with pride as he leaned toward his girlfriend, whispering praises, completely unaware that Lily had been the guiding force behind every decision he now admired. The thrill of watching him remain oblivious sent a quiet smile across her lips. This wasn't about revenge in the petty sense. It was about demonstrating the power he had once dismissed. Every step he had taken to show off his connection to Aurelia was now a testament to her brilliance. As the gala continued, Lily positioned herself near the founder, offering subtle advice and strategic pointers in hushed tones. The founder, still unaware of Lily's identity, followed the guidance eagerly, resulting in flawless execution. The audience's reaction was even more enthusiastic than expected, and Lily's heart swelled, not with triumph over Ethan, but with the satisfaction of seeing careful strategy executed perfectly. She had turned heartbreak into power and invisibility into influence. Finally, the moment arrived. The company's board prepared to announce the new majority investor, the person who had provided the capital and strategic guidance to take Aurelia to the next level. The founder, unaware of Lily's involvement, took a deep breath and began the announcement. "We have a very special partner who has guided and supported us through every challenge," she said, holding the envelope containing the official document. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the audience. The investor behind Aurelia's growth, someone who believed in us when few others did, is... Lily stepped forward, her presence now undeniable. The room fell into stunned silence. Cameras turned, flashbulbs fired, and Ethan froze mid-step, his expression shifting from casual pride to disbelief. He watched as the founder revealed her name, the one he had dismissed, the one he had left behind. Lily Reynolds. For a moment, Ethan's world tilted, his confidence faltered, his carefully constructed image cracking under the weight of revelation. He opened his mouth, searching for words, but none came. The woman he had left for someone better was the very force behind the success he had admired. The reality sank in slowly, devastatingly, like ice water pouring into his chest. Every boast, every casual comment he had made about Aurelia now felt hollow. Lily, once the one he had underestimated, now held the power he had envied. The founder handed Lily the microphone, her voice shaking slightly with excitement and awe. Lily has been our silent partner, our guide, and our inspiration. Her vision, strategy, and unwavering belief in Aurelia have transformed our company. Please join me in welcoming the mind behind our success. The audience erupted into applause, their cheers echoing off the walls. Investors approached, eager to meet her. Journalists clamored for interviews, and industry leaders nodded with respect. Lily had arrived, not just as a figure of influence, but as the undeniable architect of triumph. Ethan's girlfriend, the one he had believed was superior in charm and elegance, stood frozen beside him. Her face paled as she realized that the woman Ethan had dismissed, the woman she had perhaps envied or underestimated herself, was the real force driving Aurelia's rise. The dynamic had shifted completely, and in that instant, the truth became unavoidable. The tables had turned. Lily's gaze found Ethan, steady and unflinching. There was no anger, no desire for confrontation, only quiet acknowledgement of her power and his misjudgment. "Hello, Ethan," she said calmly, her voice carrying across the room, drawing attention without a hint of malice. "I see you've been enjoying Aurelia's success. I hope you've been paying attention." He swallowed, his pride warring with disbelief. "Lily, you're the investor?" His voice faltered, the realization slow and painful. Every step he had taken to showcase his connection now felt meaningless, every assumption about her incapacity shattered. Lily replied, her smile measured, confident, and composed. "The same one you left behind, thinking someone else was better." The weight of the words hung in the air, unspoken judgment and silent triumph entwined in their resonance. The crowd, sensing the tension, watched eagerly, sensing drama even if they didn't know the personal stakes. Ethan's world had changed in an instant. The carefully constructed narrative he had lived by, the one where he had been the superior partner, the one in control, crumbled before him. And Lily? She stood tall, unshaken, her power clear, her patience validated, her brilliance undeniable. She had taken Heartbreak and transformed it into an empire, proving that resilience, intelligence, and strategy were stronger than charm, status, or appearances. As applause continued, Lily allowed herself a quiet, private satisfaction. This wasn't about vengeance. It was about recognition, justice, and the quiet satisfaction of seeing the truth revealed. Ethan would remember this night forever, not because she had humiliated him, but because she had quietly, brilliantly, and invisibly achieved what he had thought impossible. And she had done it on her own terms, with elegance, strategy, and power. The weeks after the gala were electric with whispers and admiration. Aurelia's success had become headline news in the industry. Investors praised the company's meteoric rise, competitors scrambled to catch up, and the media hailed the visionary leadership behind it. But the true story remained largely unseen by the public. Lily Reynolds, the quiet, brilliant strategist who had orchestrated every move, every deal, and every milestone, was the invisible hand behind Aurelia's growth. Ethan, meanwhile, had become a shadow of the man he thought he was. He moved cautiously now, his usual charm dampened by the sting of realization. His confidence had been shattered, replaced by a tentative awareness that the woman he had abandoned was not only successful, but untouchable in her influence. Every meeting, every social event, every industry gathering was now a reminder of what he had lost, what he had underestimated. Lily's power was undeniable, and he could no longer hide from it. Lily, however, had no desire for petty revenge. Her focus was bigger than him, bigger than any personal slight. She had built Aurelia into a powerhouse, transformed a small startup into a company that would leave a lasting legacy. Her investment was not just financial, it was strategic, thoughtful, and visionary. And now, the final steps of her plan were unfolding as she prepared to formally reveal her role to the company's leadership and the public. The boardroom was pristine, the long mahogany table gleaming under soft recessed light. Executives and investors had gathered for the official announcement of Aurelia's new ownership and leadership strategy. The founder stood at the head of the table, her expression a mixture of pride and amazement. Lily entered calmly, the room immediately quieting in her presence. Every eye turned, a mix of curiosity and respect filling the space. The air was thick with anticipation, as if everyone knew a revelation was imminent. "Ladies and gentlemen," the founder began, her voice steady yet tinged with awe, "there's someone very special I'd like you all to meet. The person whose vision, guidance, and unwavering support transformed Aurelia into what it is today." She stepped aside, and Lily walked forward, composed, confident, every step deliberate. The room erupted in applause, some clapping softly, some exchanging amazed glances. The weight of her presence was undeniable. She commanded attention without a single word spoken yet. Ethan's chair was at the far side of the table, and when he realized who it was, his reaction was immediate: disbelief, shock, and the sudden weight of regret. His eyes widened, his face pale, and the carefully constructed persona he had maintained for months crumbled under the undeniable truth. Lily had become the architect of the very success he had sought to take credit for through proximity and charm. And now, there was no denying it. She smiled, a measured, elegant smile that conveyed confidence, authority, and quiet satisfaction. "Hello, everyone," she said, her voice calm, clear, and resonant. "I'm Lily Reynolds, your lead investor and strategic partner. Over the past year, I've worked closely with Aurelia to guide its growth, streamline operations, and maximize its potential. The results you see today are a product of careful strategy, innovation, and a commitment to excellence." The room exploded into questions and congratulations. Investors wanted details, executives sought guidance, and media representatives jotted down every word. Amid the excitement and chaos, Lily's gaze found Ethan. He sat frozen, speechless, his carefully maintained image destroyed in a single moment. The woman he had dismissed, the woman he thought he had left behind, was now the force that defined the very success he had envied. Lily didn't speak to humiliate him. She simply allowed him to witness the undeniable reality of her brilliance. Her power was not in ridicule, but in achievement. Every decision, every plan, every action she had taken to build Aurelia was a testament to her intelligence, patience, and resilience. And as Ethan's realization deepened, Lily felt no anger, only a calm satisfaction that justice, in its most elegant form, had been served. The founder, finally grasping the full scope of Lily's involvement, embraced her warmly. "I can't thank you enough," she said, voice trembling with genuine gratitude. "You've not only guided Aurelia to success, but you've inspired all of us to think bigger, to aim higher, to believe in what seemed impossible." The board members nodded in agreement, admiration and respect clear in their eyes. As the formal announcements concluded, Lily took a moment to address the team directly. "Our journey is far from over," she said. "Aurelia is not just a company, it's a vision. We will continue to innovate, expand, and excel, but the heart of our success lies in the culture we create, a culture of respect, collaboration, and the courage to pursue excellence. Each of you is essential to that mission, and together, we will achieve more than anyone could imagine." Her words were met with applause, nods, and renewed enthusiasm. Ethan lingered in the background, a silent observer of the transformation he had helped set in motion without ever realizing it. He had lost a partner, underestimated a woman, and now faced the undeniable truth. Lily was untouchable, unstoppable, and brilliant. The man who once sought someone better now saw, too late, that he had walked away from the very person capable of changing everything. And Lily? She walked away from him with the same calm confidence she had carried for months. Her victory was not in personal triumph over a former lover, but in the quiet, undeniable power she had built, the empire she had shaped, and the legacy she was creating. The heartbreak of the past had been transformed into strategy, patience, and brilliance. She had turned betrayal into fuel, underestimation into opportunity, and invisibility into influence. That night, as the city lights sparkled outside Aurelia's headquarters, Lily knew that the journey was only beginning. She had proven something profound, that resilience, intelligence, and vision are stronger than charm, appearances, and fleeting attraction. And as she looked out over the skyline, she smiled, knowing that the woman Ethan had left behind was no longer invisible, no longer underestimated, and no longer bound by anyone else's judgment. She had become the author of her own destiny, and nothing could ever take that from her.